Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about NXT UK. We're going to be running down the Impact Wrestling results. We're going to be talking about Triple H unbanning certain Vince words that he got. Damn, I can't stand these words. Triple H, though, we're bringing him back, Dad. And we're also going to be talking about Sasha and maybe Naomi. Are they coming back tonight? Evidence suggests that maybe they'll be back sooner than later. But first, before all that, let's talk about, God damn it, Vince McMahon. So, we've mentioned before that WWE has their own internal roster of talent, with lists for which superstars are good guys and bad guys, heels and faces, but also lists of who's assigned to each brand, as well as a list of wrestlers who are not assigned to a specific brand. PW Insider's Mike Johnson reported that Vince McMahon was finally removed from the internal roster earlier this week. Johnson added, quote, McMahon had been listed internally as a talent alongside other talents who were not assigned to an official brand, but would make occasional appearances and were signed to WWE deals. For example, this is how Nikki and Brie Bella and John Cena would be listed. But McMahon is no longer on this internal roster.
I mean, not surprising.
God damn it.
He resigned.
Yeah.
And apart from that appearance at Mania this year, he hadn't been in the ring in any sort of competitive capacity since that match against CM Punk in Sacramento on a Raw.
Yeah, right. We were there for that one. That was fun.
We were there for that.
We saw his
the same night that CM Punk elbowed somebody in the crowd.
That's right.
Because someone else smacked him in the back of the head.
Yeah, luckily it wasn't you, Larson. I'd have had your back on that, man.
Really? You would have taken it to Phil?
Oh, super kick. Absolutely. You know,
wow.
Probably would have landed around like mid-thigh on him.
I kind of feel like you'd been going to sleep.
I would have probably fallen over, threw my hip out, and then been tossed out of the arena. Yeah, probably after getting the old go to sleep. Like you said, man, this isn't terribly surprising. It is just interesting to hear the process of removal of Vince McMahon from WWE, being scrubbed from existence. Because
apparently, like he was, he'd have his office and be assigned for that. Well, that's gone now. Like Triple H has his own office and stuff like that. I read that last week, I think. So it just seems like bit by bit, they're going through. Oh, Vince is listed here. This is me ripping up the paper Vince is on.
That's how you rip up paper.
Start anew.
It's like, I don't know what's going on there. You need to work on your miming skills, man.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm a podcaster and not a mime.
Like
how about this?
Can you do the box? Hey, that's pretty good. He's doing for the audio crowd. He's doing the rope thing.
How's that?
That's good. That's very entertaining. You think did you say something about the office? Have they moved his office out with the big dinosaur head?
No, not his office at Titan Tower. I meant Backstage.
Shows. Yeah. Okay. All right. Still no word on what Vince McMahon's doing with all this free time, though. Kind of curious about that.
Yeah. Going from working 20 hours a day to doing nothing.
Yeah, because apparently, we heard this back when the stuff was going down. We didn't really talk about it here. That there was a report that the documentary on Vince McMahon was dead, in the water. So that's
not
done with. And everybody is sort of like, I know Becky Lynch had a quote about Vince McMahon lately, how things are kind of weird, but that, everybody has faith in Triple H. And Paul Heyman had some nice things to say about Vince. Everybody's talking about him as if he's died or something. But I guess, to WWE, effectively, he kind of is at this point,
To a degree, yeah. To a degree. Let's talk about more changes, Triple H. Or more changes going on to WWE related to Triple H and creative. So we had heard that Triple H had loosened up some of the restrictions Vince had imposed on talents regarding promos. I think we saw that. And then also, I think matches. I think it was early this week or late last week where, must have been earlier this week, that Sheamus and Drew called a lot of their Donnybrook in the ring as opposed to having it all choreographed out.
Right.
And I think we've seen with some promos, it feels like talents are freer to kind of improvise and add their own spin on things. But in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer mentioned that the game has unbanned two terms once considered dirty words under Vince. Meltzer reported, quote, "It was noted it was more relaxed and calmer, that the women felt there is going to be more focus on them, and the words wrestler and wrestling were no longer dirty words. Talent was instructed to never use without authorization. Almost everyone considers that a good thing."
Man,
I understand the idea of calling WWE sports entertainment and the wrestlers sports entertainers. Same time, wrestling is very much a part of what they do, and I'm happy that if talents choose to, they can say the word wrestler. Hopefully they can say the term professional wrestler as well as wrestling and professional wrestling.
Yeah. This is a really dumb question, but whatever, we have time to fill. Is this like dating the Jericho Appreciation Society pretty quickly? Because like their whole thing is making fun of the Vinceisms. I mean, it's sports entertainment, but that's all Vince. He just, he wanted to nationalize wrestling, so we started calling it sports entertainment. And they're just clowning, and I think they're pretty damn funny, especially Anna JAS. I think she's hilarious with the choking out stuff.
Yeah, the choking out thing is pretty good.
It's pretty great. But at this point, it's like, okay, well, they're easing up on that stuff. It's not so weird and ridiculous at this point. I mean, look, Jericho Appreciation Society is not dependent on that. It's dependent on Jericho trying to tell some decent stories and the characters and what they are. But I don't know. It's like nowadays when people are going to try to take pot shots at the silliness of WWE, it's like, well, that stuff seemingly is going to be eased up on quite a bit. It's going to be kind of passe,
You know, what they could do is make reference to them as, like the JAS is like the last bastion of sports entertainment in the pro wrestling world.
Oh, they're taking over from. This is the only place you can get that. Hey, I like that.
That's the only place
good.
Now you can get sports entertainment is JAS. Nowhere else in the world can you get sports entertainment like JAS provides you sports entertainment.
Oh, I like that. They're taking the sports
and then they get as ridiculous as they want at that point, because then it's not like, oh, we're just making fun of Vince and his quirks. We can just go crazy with doing all sorts of ridiculous sports entertainment stuff. Our only limits are our imagination at that juncture.
Yeah. No, somebody here mentioned Mayor Planet Houston. We actually did a little bit of research on this. He says wrestling is in the name of the company. Not anymore. It is what's known as I forget what it's called. It's like KFC is no longer actually Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's just KFC. WWE is no longer.
And WWE is just WWE. Doesn't really stand for anything anymore.
Doesn't actually stand for anything, yeah.
So in a recent interview with ESPN, Becky Lynch spoke about this new relaxed atmosphere under Triple H. So what she had to say, quote, "We have the opportunity to change some things that maybe weren't so great that we didn't love. I think everybody's very excited and optimistic because we know that the people in charge are some of the greatest minds in the business. Having Triple H at the helm of the ship is phenomenal. What he's done with NXT speaks for itself. What he did with the women's division and how he allowed us to change the business forever speaks for itself. He understands as a talent what we go through and what we need to be more creatively energized. There has been a tendency in the past for creative to change last minute, or we don't know where we're going. It's hard to bring everybody along on this journey if we're rambling. Triple H has a great eye for storytelling and for treating the women the same way he treats the guys, just everybody's equal. How do we tell great stories? And that's all this is. Maybe we got to bring some words back. I like words. I like having a free range of lots of words, belts, fans, whatever else it is."
That's a loaded statement, because I think it was probably the same interview where earlier she had said it's it's sort of sad and crazy that Vince is gone because he was always there. But then to pivot, I mean, this is a loaded quote. This is a loaded quote. We have the opportunity to change some things that maybe weren't so great that we didn't love. I mean, that's a very diplomatic way of saying it sucked around here.
So this is the beginning of her quote here in this ESPN piece is, "It's a dawning of a new era. For me, it's crazy and sad because everything I've ever known about WWE has always had Vince in charge. And we wouldn't have WWE the way it is if it wasn't for Vince. He's somebody who believed in me and allowed me to do everything that I've done."
Yeah. But then, to say, things weren't great, though. Everybody's excited and optimistic. We know the people in charge are some of the greatest minds in the business. Triple H at the head of the ship is phenomenal. What he does with NXT speaks for itself. Oh man, yeah, he understands as a talent what we go through and what we need to be more creatively energized. I love that quote. There's been a tendency in the past for creative change last minute, or we don't know where we're going. This last one.
I mean, it's like she says, hey, thanks to Vince and his company allowed me to get the platform that I have, but
yeah,
now it's time to make this thing good again.
But he was holding this back.
Take WB in another direction. Yes.
He was holding this, but we don't know where we're going. Creative has changed at the last minute. It's hard to bring everybody along if we're rambling. Doom. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's great to me.
Yeah.
How do we tell great stories? How do we tell great stories? Triple H knows. The other guy didn't. We were just rambling the whole time.
Just rambling.
Nothing, in the words of Cena, nothing means anything. What are we doing? It's just moves, and it doesn't mean anything. Look at those people.
If the point of that match was for me to embody ruthless aggression, I failed. He was trying not to laugh that whole time.
Oh, that's what made that thing funny. It was so great. Anyways, very telling words there from Becky Lynch. So I can't wait to see what's going to go on. Now that Triple H is in charge and no more rambling is going to happen. Hopefully there won't be any rambling tonight on SmackDown. We might see the return of Sasha Banks and Naomi. Perhaps, maybe we're still in the afterglow of SummerSlam. It's a SmackDown of SummerSlam. So last month though, C2E2. And now what is it? The Chicago? What is it? The
Chicago. It's two C's and two E's. Entertainment Expo, Chicago Convention and Entertainment, Comic Convention Entertainment Expo.
I don't think comics are involved, are they?
Chicago Convention Entertainment Expo.
Entertainment. So last month, C2E2 announced that Sasha Banks would be appearing at the convention August 6th and 7th, take photos and sign autographs. Earlier this week, Sasha was advertised for a celebrity flag football game at the LA Rams practice facility that's going down today, August the 5th. However, the Rams released updated rosters yesterday, August 4th, and Banks was no longer listed on their active roster. Could this be an indication that Sasha could make an appearance on tonight's SmackDown in Greensville, South Carolina? I wonder if she had to get her lawyers in on that action. It's like, hey, we need to negotiate an out for the celebrity football game. Actually,
I don't know.
Did, to be honest with you.
Maybe.
I don't know. Take care of that shit, yeah.
I guess it just remains to be seen if she shows up tonight. I think it's a pretty short window where she was advertised for this on Team Aaron Donald, and then within a couple days, not advertised for it, or her name pulled from Team Aaron Donald's roster. Maybe it's something as simple as like, well, I have to fly to Los Angeles for this, and then I have to fly out to Chicago the next day, and just like, this in terms of the logistics of travel, seems like it's going to be cutting it close or something. Let's just not do the football game, or she's flying to Greensville, South Carolina tonight, and then out of Greensville, Chicago tomorrow. I don't know. Don't know.
Yeah, no say. But yeah, man, we're going to find out tonight if this is going to happen now or if it's still possibly going to happen later. I'm interested to see what goes down on SmackDown tonight. I think it's going to try to make another statement show. Raw is from Cleveland on Monday, huh?
Yeah.
So where are they? Do we know where they're at tonight?
Yeah, Greensville, South Carolina.
Oh, right. All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, ExpressVPN. Hey, Larson.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know this already, but man, those streaming services we all enjoy have different content available based on where you're located. For example, there are thousands upon thousands of shows on Netflix, but we only get access to a fraction of them.
Yeah, watching Netflix without using ExpressVPN is like going to the casino and only playing the penny slots. There's huge money to be made somewhere else. See, ExpressVPN lets you change your online location so you can control where those streaming services think you're located. ExpressVPN offers more than 90 different server locations, and all you gotta do is open the ExpressVPN app, select a country, hit connect, and bang, you get access to a whole new world of entertainment. And it works on a bunch of streaming services, Netflix, BBC iPlayer, and more.
The other day I was thinking I should give the Coen Brothers' Fargo another try because the Coen Brothers are great. I actually really like the Fargo TV show. I was never really a fan of the movie. But then I find out that it's not on Netflix here in the U.S. So I fired up ExpressVPN and I watched it on Canadian Netflix in glorious HD with zero buffering. Still not really a fan of that movie, but whatever. Plus, ExpressVPN is compatible on all my devices. So if I wanted to try it again, I could watch Fargo on my phone, laptop, or smart TV.
You should give it another try. It's a great film. So be smart. Stop paying full price for streaming services and only getting access to a fraction of their content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/GIR. Don't forget to use our link at expressvpn.com/GIR to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Raycon. Steve, you know me, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. You're Larson.
Yeah, I'm Larson, and I like music, and I listen to all sorts of stuff. And lately, I've been listening to a lot of wrestling themes to get myself pumped up for my morning workouts, and they're sounding better than ever through my Raycon wireless earbuds.
Yeah, man. And Raycon's everyday wireless earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. And they've got a great in-ear fit thanks to optimized gel tips, and they've got a couple of different modes. Noise isolation mode for I want to block out the outside world and rock out to my favorite wrestling theme, Steve Thunder's theme, Sad Last Days by The Observer. Or awareness mode when I'm listening to a podcast or music on as background audio when I'm out running errands.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Raycon's 3 sound profiles that match up my audio experience to whatever I'm listening to. So if I'm listening to a podcast like Going in Raw, I put my Raycon wireless earbuds on the pure sound profile. If I want to listen to the greatest wrestling theme of all time, Minoru Suzuki's Kaze ni Nare, I switch over to the balance profile. Or if I'm listening to Ricky Stark's theme, I'll switch over to the bass profile. And with my Raycons, I can listen all day because they offer up to 8 hours of playtime and 32 hours of battery life.
And Raycons are priced right. You get quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. So go to buyraycon.com/raw today to get 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon.com/raw to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com/raw. Road to Emergence, possibly the most predictable pay-per-view of the year so far, Larson.
I mean, it seems like it's pretty cut and dry, it seems like.
I mean, let's look at this card right here. We got Sami Callihan. What is it, Sami Callihan?
But we still have one more week of Impact. We still have the go-home show.
Oh, yeah.
It's not till next Friday. It's a week from today, the show is.
We know a bunch of the matches, though.
Yeah.
Impact. Let's see here. Impact Wrestling Emergence. Mitch. Josh Alexander is going to beat Alex Shelley.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably going to be a wonk finish of some sort. Mia Yim and Jordan Grace.
Maybe.
I don't know about that one. Rosemary and Taya versus Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo. That one's nuts.
Oh, Rosemary and Taya are going to win that.
You think that's a total thing? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's her? Yeah, Purrazzo beat Rosemary this week. Yeah, and then Chelsea Green will probably beat Taya next week. Yep. Bandito versus Ray Horace.
That'll be a fun match.
That'll be a fun match. Have they even been on? Were they on Impact this week?
No.
What's the last thing Bandito did on Impact?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Bullet Club versus Honor No More. Yeah, maybe this isn't so cut and dry. Okay, Sami Callihan versus Steve Macklin. Callahan's going to win that one.
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know, because Moose could help Macklin win.
Man, Macklin he could try. Macklin's not going to get a win over Death Machine. Come on now. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
You give that idea a thumbs down. Okay.
I do. I give it a thumbs down. God, he's so intense, Sami Callihan. I mean, his nickname is Death Machine. And then you got Chris Sabin and Kushida versus Violent by Design.
With Alex Shelley apparently joining them ringside, because he said he's not going to let the numbers advantage exist for Violent by Design. So he's totally distracted from his main event bout.
What did Sabin call his team with Kushida? Him, Shelley, and Kushida. They're called the Forward Thinkers.
Triforce.
Triforce. That's right. That's a Zelda thing, isn't it?
It is a Zelda thing, yes.
And then Speedball Mike Bailey. He's going to beat Rocky Romero next week. He's going to beat Jack Evans the next week, too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, what do you think of
All
Impact this
confidence
week,
points.
man? What do you think of Impact this week?
It was fun. There were some solid matches. That main event was a lot of fun. I don't know how much longer PCO is going to be able to put his body through all this.
Oh my God, that main event was fun.
Fun.
So like the false finish was awesome, where Gallows slams PCO through the ring. That I did not expect that at all. That I did not see that coming. And then he gets up, like the Frankenstein monster he is. And then he gets out, and then he has that goofy glove where, like, what is it? He fills it with the thumbtacks, and that's supposed to be, but he's holding the thumbtacks in his hand. I know he
he fills it with thumbtacks, and then dumps the rest of the thumbtacks into his hand, then drops an elbow.
Yeah, and then he sends Gallows into the abyss there and gets the win. I thought that was kind of goofy. Honor No More was,
it was fun.
It was really fun. And yeah, PCO takes a lot of damage. Honor No More was even more confusing this week than they usually are. What was that? Because I remember you mentioned this about Joe Gacy. Like, what the fuck was going on there? What was going on with Ed Edwards and Josh Alexander in the stairwell? Like, what was he? He was like, oh yeah, we all know what goes on around here. I'm like, what? He's the champion. He should be pretty happy right now.
I mean, I guess that's their way of setting up Josh Alexander's next match.
Ed Edwards?
Yeah, that'd be my guess. Where Ed Edwards is like, hey, I used to be champ, and now I'm not champ, and look, now I'm with Honor No More. Do you want this to happen to you? No, then listen to me.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah.
Do you want to fall on hard times and have to join a lame faction? No. Listen to me. I'll keep you off this path.
Josh, you're looking at your future, man. You're looking at your future.
Yeah.
You're going to be out there at the TV truck yanking wires
Just
out of
in
a
10 years, they're going to be a reunited Team Canada.
Yeah.
And you're going to be leading that. You know?
Oh, no. It was pretty goofy, but there was also a lot to appreciate here.
I did like the Giselle Shaw Masha match. It wasn't long, but it was a lot of fun, and I was happy to see that they gave Giselle a couple firsts against Masha. The first to actually get Masha down for a 2 count. That knee she hit to get that 2 count look real good. And then Giselle was the first to kick out.
Yeah.
Not of Masha's finish, but of anything else that apparently Masha's done. Yeah.
And I like
the other time Masha's got a 2 count is when she got off the pin.
It fits into the story that Giselle was mentioning earlier. It's like, I haven't had a close-up opportunity, so I could scout her. Now that she has, I mean, are they going to rerun that at Emergence? What's the situation with that? Yeah,
there's already a lot of matches at Emergence, though, isn't there?
There's 8 matches right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that seems about right for an Impact Plus show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they're a little bit of filler. Anytime there's because there was not an X Division match. And that usually is a highlight of Impact Wrestling on a weekly basis. But there was some good stuff here. Let's just go ahead and dive into it. It kicked off with Deonna Purrazzo versus Rosemary. Of course, Rosemary had her crew with her, Taya and Jessica. Now Jessica Havoc, Happy Jessica. And it's great because on Havoc's Twitch stream, I noticed, because I think we rated her the other day. One of her, I think it's like a sub emote or a follow emote, is that awesome close up of her smiling in the undead realm. Did you see that great episode? It was okay. Yeah.
That was a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. That was pretty. I forgot if that was when you were on vacation or not. But yeah. And so in this case, though, you'd think the numbers advantage would help Rosemary, because Chelsea Green, I don't think, was out there.
No, they said that she was planning Deanna's bachelorette party.
Yeah, that's right. And so Deonna at one point, she gets pissed off that Havoc's out there. Says, you know what, Havoc, Jessica, you're not invited anymore. Oh, that sends Jessica off. And she tries to get in the ring. She's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's distracting the ref. Rosemary hits a spear, goes for the cover. The ref doesn't count because he's distracted by Jessica trying to get in the ring. And then Deonna is able to get the roll up on Rosemary for the win.
Yep. After that, everybody's favorite faction, Honor No More, they're backstage. Ed Edwards has really persisted with this idea that PCO is not dependable, can't be relied on, is the weak link of Honor No More. And every bit of evidence suggests that Ed Edwards is apparently losing his mind. Because nothing suggests that PCO is in any way. He's like one of the few members of Honor No More that gets consistent wins.
He gets consistent wins. He has no ego, and he does whatever they want. And he doesn't complain. He never complains about anything.
Never. So Taven says, hey, we need to start learning how to trust each other. No more games. We have to focus on one goal. And Ed Edwards says, yeah.
Trust.
We didn't know. What's that?
Trust. Well, do you?
Trust. Ed Edwards says, you need to know that we can count on each other. But one person I have questions about, that's you, PCO. And Vincent's like, whoa, don't point fingers at him. Let us not be the ones that betray PCO. And then Ed Edwards says, all right, well, I got a test for you then, PCO. You take on Gallows in a street fight tonight. Prove that you're with us.
You know, this is a great point here. Jorge says Vincent was on an actual Ring of Honor show. Vincent is the traitor of Honor No More. He is Honor some more.
Honor more.
Honor more.
Honor more.
Honor quite a bit more.
Then we get the Giselle Shaw interview. She's asked if she's avoiding Masha Slamovich. She says, no, I'm just trying to scout my competition. She says, I pay attention to the fine details, and Masha just hasn't given me a large enough sample size, essentially, to get the information I need.
Mm-hmm. I suspect next week she's going to say, I have all the info I need after being up close. Now I've figured out the algorithm. But
yes.
Newsflash, she's still going to fall to the snowplow.
Probably.
After that, we had Black Taurus versus Brian Myers. Of course, Brian Myers the entire time was trying to duck Bhupinder Gujar, and instead he ends up with Black Taurus. How Black Taurus doesn't dominate every match he's in is sort of beyond me. I know Brian Myers needed to get his some leverage on the ropes. He grabbed the ropes to get this win here, but still, Black Taurus is he looks like a nightmare. You know,
and he's a phenomenal talent.
Yeah,
it's weird
really
that he has found greater success either on Impact or AAA, even for that matter.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
he's a hell of a wrestler.
And his mask is too. He's like, oh, I don't know where I am. It's pretty impressive. He's able to do the shit he can with that mask on.
No shit. I mean, it's really impressive. He can do all the stuff he does with that giant. It's probably heavy too.
Mask. It's probably like 15 pounds, man.
Yeah. So Taurus goes for his finish. Myers sticks his hand inside the mask, poke his eyes, and then rolls him up with a handful of tights to get the win. And then Bhupinder meets Brian Myers on the ramp as Myers is leaving, throws him back in the ring. Taurus and Crazy Steve hit him with some stuff, and then Bhupinder hits the gargoyle spear on Brian Myers.
After that, we had a Jordan Grace interview. She says, I respect Mia Yim, and I know this opportunity means a lot to her, but this title means everything to me. At Emergence, Mia is an obstacle, and Gia, you know what I do to obstacles? She hurdles them, clears them, I guess. I don't know.
Clears them, I guess, yeah. So then we got Giselle Shaw versus Masha. Went through kind of the major story beats here. Giselle avoids a knee from Masha. He hits an awesome running knee of her own. Gets a 2 count. Masha hits a bridging German suplex. Shaw kicks out of that, but shortly thereafter, Masha hits a snowplow to get the win.
Mm-hmm. We get a quick flashback clip of Mia Yim beating Madison Rayne for the knockout title, for the knockouts title, and then we have a Mia Yim interview, and she says, "I heard what Jordan Grace says." She says, "I'm more than an obstacle. I'm the final boss." Madison Rayne steps in, says, "I just had surgery on my nose," and then Masha smashes my face in, and now Mia's kicking me while I'm down. Mia says, "You know what? I'm gonna kick you while you stand there." And then Gail Kim steps in and says, "Oh, I love this blast from the past here. I love taking a trip down memory road." She says, "Mia, you are at your absolute best right now. So next week, Madison Rayne, you're going to be taking on Mia Yim." And Madison's like, yeah. WTF, I'm making my Rampage debut this week, and next week I've got to still be on Impact.
I know. It was interesting that Madison was like, "Mia, you're to blame for the truck running that video," you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well, you know.
Maybe Mia put in a special request. Who knows? Anyways, then we had
a production truck.
Could be. We have Rosemary, Taya, and Jessica Havoc backstage, and Taya is saying, "You know, Rosemary, you can't be mad for what Havoc did." Said she's pretty much like a baby. She was reborn in the undead realm. She's trying to learn the ways of the world now.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, and Rosemary was like, what's even the point of assembling the numbers advantage? We can't even use that to our advantage. And she says to Havoc, Decay is family, but after being in the Dead Realm, maybe you're not ready. And Havoc says, no, I am ready. And at Emergence, I promise you'll retain the tag titles.
And like everything's fine. And then she starts kicking up with the silliness again. She's like, they're going to need a wambulance.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, why are you mad now? That was pretty funny. So I really like what Jessica Havoc's doing right now. I think it's really funny stuff.
She's been doing great work.
After that, we had Violent by Design, but it's Diener and the big man Doring, Confused Cowboy, versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Of course, Motor City Machine Guns, they're awesome. There was Sabin, how he does that like leaping jackknife cover.
Oh yeah, out of the crucifix pin. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was sick. He got and that was after a suicide dive onto a Confused Cowboy who like sold like he sort of like caught him a little bit and then just sort of very gently like crumbled to the ground. He's like, I guess I'm out of this match. I'm just gonna lay here for a bit. So Diener eats the pin there. Afterwards, Violent by Design lay out Motor City Machine Guns. Kushida runs to the ring to make the save. Eric Young then runs to the ring and hits Kushida with a pile driver.
Yeah. Then we get a Motor City Machine Guns Kushida promo, I guess. Triforce is what they're calling themselves.
Triforce.
Trio. Sabin says, well, Shelley's got a title match at Emergence, so Kushida and I will challenge you, Violent by Design, to a tag match there. Shelley says to Kushida and Sabin, you're my brothers.
Brother.
If I need to, I'll be there to even out the numbers game. And then Josh Alexander apparently was overhearing it and stepped right in. It's like, hey, you got a title match against me at Emergence. I want you at your best. So he leaves, walks through a door, and there's Ed Edwards, standing there.
Stairwell.
And he says, Shelley's not taking you seriously enough. You're riding high right now. You're the champ. You're the top of the mountain. The problem is you can't see what's on the other side. I've been there. I know what happens. If you need help, I'm there for you.
What's a cooler time-traveling name for that faction of the Time Splitters plus Chris Sabin? They can either call themselves Gray's Sports Almanac or the Flux Capacitors. Flux
Capacitor. Or you're just Flux Capacitor, singular, like as a unit.
Right. They are Flux Capacitor.
Didn't that have three prongs to it?
It had one river going up
shaped
and
like a Y.
splitting into two. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you got 3 points there.
Yeah, Flux Capacitor is a better name.
Right. It's a good name right there. How about Mr. Fusion?
It's good too. Well, that's what he threw the trash into.
Right, exactly. I guess that would be more appropriate for Honor No More. After that, we had Raj Singh versus Sami Callihan. Poor Raj Singh. This dude comes out, and people are like, "Wait, who's this guy
wrecked.
Again?" No, he gets
Sami just wrecks him.
He gets zero crowd reaction. It was as if it was like a stagehand was coming to the ring. They didn't realize that the taping was going on right now. He just comes out and everybody's like, who's that guy? So anyways, he gets murdered by the Death Machine, appropriately named, hits him with the, what is it called? Cactus Driver, 97 or whatever.
It's a pile driver.
Yeah, it's just a pile driver. So afterwards, Sammy's got a promo that he wants to cut. He calls out Moose. I'm not done fighting. Calls out Moose, and then the lights go down and Moose's music hits, and then Macklin appears and fucking what's his face? Who's the commentary? Not Drama King. The other guy, Tom Hannigan.
Oh,
Hannafin?
Tom Hannafin.
He says, "Is that Moose?" And it's like, it's a dude clearly has a full head of hair, man. What are you talking about? So then, Moose tries to surprise attack Sammy with a spear, but I don't know, maybe his jammies, because it looked like he was wearing pajamas when he was in there. Sammy's able to fend him off. Macklin hits the ring. Sammy fends him off too, looks for a pile driver. Macklin hits him in the dick balls area. Moose follows with a spear, and then Moose rolls out of the ring. Macklin hits Sammy with a double underhook DDT. But I'm kind of confused here. Moose said that him and Macklin were not a team, Larson. Why are they now acting like they are a team?
As Drama King Matt said, maybe it's not so much they're a team, they have a common enemy. That being Death Machine, Sami Callihan. They think I mean, rather than thumbs up Sammy, they both said thumbs down.
Uh-huh.
And even though they might not be an any sort of alliance, it might be a temporary deal because they don't like Sammy.
Did they just coincidentally show up at the same time? Like Moose's music hits and then Macklin shows up on the ramp because he thinks it's supposed to be his music. It's like a Shane McMahon, Randy Orton situation at the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Anyways, after that, we had an awesome Killer Kelly video package.
Yeah, they're doing really good.
They're doing a great job, building up her, bringing her in. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And then we had a Bullet Club promo. Carl Anderson says Bullet Club is box office. Gallows going to finish off PCO forever. And the rest of us, we're going to stay in back and let Gallows handle his business. And Gallows says he's going to beat PCO with anything that isn't nailed down to the floor. And I'm going to send PCO straight to hell. Chris Bay and Ace Austin, they hype up the 5-on-5 tag match at Emergence. And Gallows then delivers the recipe, how he's going to defeat PCO. It involves a Magic Killer and a 2-Sweet.
Do you think, is this finally going to be? Because I don't know, man. Ed Edwards saying, hey, Josh Alexander, I got next. I feel like that's going to be Josh Alexander versus the entirety of Honor No More. I kind of feel like they're going to win this match against Bullet Club.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah. Probably thanks to PCO, by the way. Who, like we mentioned at the intro of the Impact Wrestling results, had a killer match, a street fight against Doc Gallows. It didn't matter. Nobody was wearing jeans, man. This was a killer match right here. This is a lot of fun.
It was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Ton of fun. So towards the end, PCO clips off the ties that keeps the canvas down the mat, and he pulls it back, hits Gallows in the head with some trash cans, and then just pulls back the padding, so exposing the wood.
Mm-hmm.
So Gallows comes over with some chain wrapped around his fist, punches PCO, hits the gas mask on the exposed wood, gets a 2. PCO puts a drum set on the apron, puts Gallows' head through the bass drum, and then he puts Gallows on the apron, setting up for the moonsault off the top rope onto the apron. Gallows gets up and choke slams him off the second rope through the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they gimmick, so there's a hole there and goes through the ring.
Yeah.
So the ref starts with the standing Ted count. PCO barely beats it. PCO hits reverse DDT on the exposed boards, grabs a bag of thumbtacks and a glove, puts a bunch of them in the glove, puts the glove on, puts a bunch more thumbtacks in his hand, hits an elbow drop off the second rope. Gallows rolls into the hole in the ring, and PCO just stands on top of him to get the win.
Yup. Yeah.
Really fun bout, though.
It was really fun stuff. We also had an NXT UK. So, biggest news. There was two things that happened really sort of primarily here. Number one, the biggest bit of news, Ilya Dragunov suffered an ankle injury. Cut a promo at the beginning of the show. He suffered an ankle injury during the Wolfgang match. They showed the replay of it. Those are always so hard to watch, but they love showing those replays. Especially when it's an ankle, they'll just replay it and replay it.
They did the same thing when Blair broke her ankle. When Blair broke hers,
I know.
Replay a couple times.
Yeah, it was awful. So he delivered just a really killer promo at the beginning, and I was texting you while I was watching it, and I like that they're loading up the BT Sports Arena with more people, and they are really starting to come alive a little bit more. And thanks to number one, terrific matches, but also Ilya is just a hell of a promo. You can't.
Yeah, he's got a presence. Yeah,
you cannot not watch the TV when he's on. Man, he's terrific.
He is.
So they're gonna have a tournament to determine new champion. By the way, we know the spoilers are already out there, but please, if you're looking at our comments or whatever, don't post any spoilers. Chat, same with you. So we're gonna
Did you see who ended up winning? Don't say who, but did you see who ended up getting the win ultimately?
I did. So we have what is an 8-man? No, is it an 8-man? Yeah, it's an 8-man. Yeah. You got Wolfgang and Trent Seven. You got Charlie Dempsey and Oliver Carter for their story. Yep. You got Tyler Bate and the Cockroach, Kenny Williams. And you've got Joe Coffey and what's the last one? Joe Coffey.
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews, that's right. So that tournament kicks off next week, I believe.
Yep.
So yeah, that's interesting stuff. We're not going to speculate about who would win because we already know.
Yeah, we know who wins. So speculation would quickly turn to spoilers, probably.
Exactly.
Inadvertently, one way or the other.
I will say this before I knew about the actual outcome, but because there was a gap of time, between. It was like, Ilya's out. the person I most want and was hoping it would make the most sense would be Trent Seven. Would love that. Would absolutely love it if he gets that UK title. So I'll just say that was my initial thoughts going into this without spoiling who won, if it was him or if it wasn't him. Not going to divulge that here. Also, this was weird. We were supposed to get this was a drag. Mako Satomura versus Saray was supposed to be on the card tonight.
Supposed to be the main event of the show. Yeah, then before the match starts, Blair Davenport comes to the ring and says, "I'm sorry, but your originally scheduled main event's not happening because of me." I guess the implication is that she beat him up, although they didn't go backstage to show trainers attending to Mako and Saray or anything like that. So then Sid Scala comes out and tells her, go backstage. Eventually we get Amel, we get Eliza Alexander, and we get Isla Dawn, all in the arena, and all trying to make their case that they should be getting a title opportunity. Well, Blair and Isla are both in the ring gear, so Sid just says, we need a main event tonight. You two have a match. Winner will be new number one contender. However, nobody won. So we still know why we didn't have Saray versus Mako, nor do we have a number one contender to face the winner of that match for the women's title.
Yeah, I mean, they even referenced on NXT this past week that Saray was in the UK trying to win titles there, and Mandy was like, and now you're over here trying to win titles. This was confusing, and I'm disappointed that we didn't get Mako versus Saray. I hope we still get that match, but given the excursion schedule situation, who knows if we're going to. I didn't look at the full spoilers for the upcoming NXT, so I don't know if we're going to get that match. I probably should have. I mean, I spoiled the other stuff for me.
Well, here, go ahead and start with the Ilya match. I'll see if...
So, yeah, Ilya comes out. He walks to the ring on crutches. He has a big old boot on, walking boot. He says, last week against Wolfgang, I suffered an injury, a severe ankle injury early in the match, but I fought on until the very end. He says, I fought till the end because this title is not a privilege. Being UK champ means to fight to be the very best in this brand, and this brand has only had fighting champs, and as much as I would love to continue to do that, I can't. He says, this injury means that I won't be medically cleared, and since no one knows how long I'll be out, I have to relinquish the title today. He said, what should I say? Should I talk about how hard I worked for this? He says, because I won't. Everybody backstage is working hard. Or should I talk about my hard past? He says, no, I'm not going to. We all have to fight our own battles. Or should I talk about the fact that if I would have been more careful while fighting, this injury wouldn't have happened? No, I don't regret anything. When I look at the ring, I see bits of my own soul in the canvas. He says, I fought with my soul as the NXT UK champion, and as sad as I am to relinquish the title, sad as I am to know that someone else will take my place, I know one thing. No one beats me except myself. I'll come back as a better man, and if you think I was strong holding this title, you'll be shocked to see how strong I am to get it back. And then he puts the title on the mat, and by this time, the whole crowd is chanting, undefeated. And I think they were chanting like one of his phrases in Russian. I couldn't really tell to kick things off. But they were fired up, man. This is the most fired up I've seen that BT Sports crowd get since they've let people back in.
Yeah, it's great to see the UK crowds get that enthusiastic again, because it has been a while. After that, we get a video package of Chase U in London. They're out touring the sites, and they arrive at the UK Performance Center. And there's Shaw Samuel sitting on the sidewalk in front of the building.
Bum-ass Shaw.
Yeah. And so Chase says to Bodie, hey, go motivate him, essentially. So Bodie goes over there and gives him a pep talk and say, hey, even you could get into Chase U. And then Shaw raises his head and starts yelling at Bodie. He says, I may have lost everything. I may have lost my house, my wife, all my jackets, my shoes, but I still got my trunks and my boots. And I still work here. And
I'm going to talk to Johnny Saint.
And then Bodie and Chase were like, well, he works here?
Yeah, this was actually really well done, because as soon as Bodie walks up to him, Shaw sort of turns his head and goes, oh, more of these Yanks. Because of all these excursions over from NXT. That was pretty fun. I thought this whole thing was good, man. Chase U saying, oh, look, man, we have a teachable moment right here. This guy looks down and out. We don't leave anybody behind.
Yep.
So anyways, after that, we had Johnny, Saint, and Sid chatting backstage. What do you think of Johnny rocking those big old sideburns, man? It looked like it was 1977.
Those nice sideburns there.
Yeah, man. He says they announce that they're going to have an 8-man tournament to crown a new champ, and the competitors in the brackets will be revealed.
Then we got Oliver Carter versus Rohan Raja. One point, Raja backdrops Carter over the top rope, but doing so, he helps Carter take out De Familia. And then Carter traps Raja between the apron and the skirt, hits some shots, hits spinning heel kick to get the win. De Familia attacks Carter after the match. Dempsey puts him in the half crab, and the ref comes out to break it up.
Man, they're just killing De Familia here, man. It's breaking my heart right here. So yeah, hopefully Dempsey won't. Hopefully Dempsey will avoid the trifecta next week or whenever they have that match, because Oliver Carter was kind of beat up this week, but it's probably just going to be like an underdog victory for him. Ugh. Anyways, after that, we had a Thea Hale promo. She's like, hey, I could have gone to Harvard or Yale, but Chase U is the place for me. And then Eliza Alexander steps in and just starts talking shit. So I'm sick of these Americans coming to UK and taking opportunities from me. She says I should be getting title shots. Beating people up around here gets people's attention. So I'm going to make a statement against you and prove that Chase U. And Hale was just taking all. She was like, yeah, okay, fine. But it's the second Eliza Alexander mentions Chase U, she's like, whoa. Wait a second. You've gone too far. Chase U is the best university in the world. She turns around and says, Chase U. And then Eliza looks in the camera and says, Chase U? Does she want me to chase her? That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Then we got a De Familia interview. So Teo Man says to Raja and Dempsey, hey, go get some ice, get some drinks. I got this. And so he's asked, what are your feelings about the loss? He says, a loss?
A loss.
Did you see what we did out there to Oliver Carter? He says, the eye always sees what's going to be happening. I'm like, no, I mean, Raja got pinned. That's an L, man.
Yeah, that's an L. But I had both my eyes going. Both my eyes saw that was an L. You guys look like clowns out there.
And so Sam Gradwell walks up from behind, and he says, my eyes see that Teo Man only gets his way around here. Because he has other people doing his dirty work. He says, but if Teo Man stood across the ring from him, the eye wouldn't have a plan against Sam Gradwell.
Your eye is dirt worst. After that, we had Bodie Hayward versus Shaw Samuels. I thought if there was any opportunity to give a win to somebody from NXT, this would be it, because Shaw Samuels comes out. He's playing this up beautifully. He's got the cloth sack on a stick with it's just a trash sack. He's like pulling trash out of it. He's got like a mustard.
Well, he pulls his hat out.
Yeah.
He pulls it and he panhandles down the ramp.
He's trying to get a couple quid here and there. How many pence you got in your pocket there? And he's got for some reason he's got his wrestling trunks on, his singlet on, but he's electing to wear a ripped up. This honestly is like something out of W. Steve W. or Fun Wrestling. When we want to signify somebody on hard times, we have them wrestle in a stained tank top. Yeah.
Undershirt.
So that's what he's doing here. And Bodie's pretty much dominating these things. But he goes for a couple corner splashes, and he's like, I'm going to do one more. He totally calls a shot. Shaw moves out of the way. Bodie hits the top turnbuckle head first, and then Shaw follows with his spine buster finish to get the win on Bodie Hayward.
Yep. Then Oliver Carter, he's leaving the trainer's room. He's asked, how's your leg doing after Charlie Dempsey putting you in the half crab? Says, it's in bad shape, but I'll be good. So then Sid walks up to him and tells Oliver, you're going to be in the title tournament. You got a match next week against Charlie Dempsey. And then Carter's like, next week? You know what? No injury is going to keep me out of the tournament. I'll be good. And then he turns and he limps away.
And Sid's like, what did I do? What did I do wrong? You idiot. You couldn't have put him week 2? Man, give him some time here, dude. After that, we had a video package for the title tournament. We already mentioned who's going to be fighting here. And then we had what was supposed to be Saray versus Mako Satomura. Instead, Blair Davenport comes out. She says, I'm sorry there's been a break in our originally scheduled program because earlier today, Mako and Saray experienced something unexpected. Me. Which is kind of cool given that, apparently she's alluding to the fact that she took out both competitors. That was pretty impressive, especially because Mako always has a Millie McKenzie following her around.
Exactly. So I guess she probably took out Millie, too.
Oh. So then Sid comes out, all in a panic, sweaty, slimy Sid. Says, "Go backstage, Blair." Blair says, "Ever since I've been back from injury, Mako's been ignoring me." Says, if I hadn't broken my ankle, I'd be women's champ. Sid he's like, I know. He's like, or she says, Sid knows this, everybody in the studio knows this, and if I don't get what I want, I'm gonna keep making trouble here in NXT UK. So Mel comes out in a very green outfit and says, "That's not how this works. Everybody here wants to be next, challenge Mako, and I'm willing to work for it." And they're willing to work for it. And Eliza Alexander comes out next. She's got some gray sweatpants on. Says, "Maybe Blair has a point. The louder you are, the more people pay attention. But neither of you deserve to be next in line as long as I'm there." And then Blair says, "I deserve to be next in line for the title." And then Isla's behind her. All of a sudden, she shows up. She says, "I don't recall you ever beating me." And Sid's like, "Ugh, fine, whatever. We still need a main event. You, fight. Winner is number one contender."
He's so over it by that point.
So am I, to be honest with you. It was a lot of talking here. And then we had Isla Dawn versus Blair Davenport. So Isla hits a top rope Meteora, covers Blair, but then Eliza pulls her out of the ring. Ref calls for the bell. Isla drops Eliza with a forearm, and Mel hits Blair with a pump kick. Isla gets back in the ring. She kicks Mel. Eliza gets in the ring, kicks Isla. Blair spears Eliza. Ref comes out, breaks up the brawl. No resolution whatsoever.
No resolution whatsoever. None. Yeah. We got some G1 results. We had 5 matches last night. Here's who won. Jeff Cobb defeated Jonah. Tetsuya Naito defeated Aaron Henare. Taichi defeated Chase Owens. Go Ace Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Evil. And then in a bit of an upset, I think, Yujiro Takahashi defeated Juice Robinson.
Yeah.
Current score, Steve, you got 52 points.
For August, yes. This is the August
Good
predictions.
job.
It's only exclusive to the G1.
Only the G1. I have 48, and Forrester still with a pretty massive lead at 58 points.
He's building a wall. Yeah, so everything stands pat from the other night. And then we've got more tonight in the G1 as well. So
yes, we do. We do. There's some couple matches here that we differ our picks on, so hopefully they go my way.
Go Archer.
I'm tied with you.
Go Archer and go
Ospreay.
Ospreay, yeah. I don't know about that.
For you, I need Shingo and I need Yano to win those ones.
Shingo might come through, man.
I think so. I don't know about Yano. There's a SmackDown tonight. 3 segments announced. First, Roman Reigns to address his Clash at the Castle challenger, Drew McIntyre. This next one will be fun. Gauntlet match, because gauntlet matches are always fun.
Oh, those are great. It's like a lot of people in this thing, too.
Yeah, to determine who will face Liv at Clash at Castle. It's
Raquel, Natalia, Shayna, Shotzi? Shotzi in it?
Yes, Xia Li, Sonya, and Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, yeah. That's going to take up a good chunk of time right there, man.
Yeah. And then Nakamura against Ludwig Kaiser. And if Nakamura wins, he gets an IC title shot. Which, hopefully that happens at Clash at the Castle. Get the Intercontinental title back on pay-per-view.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me for that European crowd? Ooh! That's going to be good stuff. We have time to answer a couple of questions. I did at the very last minute, by request of the wild card Luis, put up a questions thread. We got a couple questions here. If you're in the Twitch chat, feel free to highlight something and maybe we'll read it. Let's see here. Blake Whitehouse letting us know that he was front row at the Impact tapings wearing an orange and white striped shirt during the Gallows PCO match. He says, it was easily the most fun I've had at a wrestling show. What is it about smaller shows that feel more special compared to big area shows? We'll talk about smaller shows in the Northern California area here in Sacramento a week from this weekend. So the 13th of August.
Yeah, a week from tomorrow.
Action Coast Wrestling. We've got some big decisions to make later on today. Right now, actually, if you're watching this right now at Friendo Club TV is episode 2 of Friendo Road. The negotiations continue between us and Joe DeSole over ownership of Action Coast Wrestling. Their next show is August 13th, regardless of whether or not we decide to take them up on that offer. Also, you got to check out the Going In Raw Stakes in this week's Friendo Road, so be sure to check that out.
That was a fun day.
That was a really fun day.
That was a blast.
What is it about smaller shows? They're more intimate. You get to watch them ply their trade close up, and they're more interactive. I think.
Yeah, way more interaction.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it's great stuff. Let's see here. David Matushek, what do you think should be the crowd reaction for Sasha and Naomi's return if it happens tonight?
Oh, just everybody's going to cheer.
It should be on par with like Raj Singh. People are just confused. Yeah. They show up and people just stop. It's just crickets. They just walk out. No music, no Tron. They just walk out and everybody's like,
they're just there, huh?
You just hear like tumbleweed.
Wow.
No, it should be explosive. The whole roof should come off that place.
Yeah, roof will blow off the place.
What kind of question is that?
Owen Likes Comics asked if CM Punk isn't back for All Out and doesn't seem like he will be. That's my own editorializing there. What's the biggest match AEW could book for Moxley and the world title? I assume it All Out. Well, if this Mox Jericho match actually has a finish and they don't revisit it at All Out.
You know what it's got to be, man. I mean, I don't know how you motivate it. And I don't even know if you want to do this because he already had a title shot against Hangman, but Danielson versus Mox.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Blackpool Combat Club's like the biggest thing right now in AEW. They're the strongest faction, and that's the match. That's a WWE headlining match.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
And maybe.
Oh wow, Luis. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, just given Mox's promo, he's sort of faced with the idea right now of facing a stablemate. I mean, I know Jericho just won, but in that promo, he had to address the idea of facing a stablemate. I don't think that's necessarily foreshadowing, but it could be interpreted that way if he's confronted with that again.
Definitely. Luis Areza, what have been your favorite Miro/Rusev quotes of all time? Let's take Dog Ziggler out of it because that's obviously number one.
Of course, absolutely.
Man, so much of the stuff, the neck of sand line.
The first time he referenced the neck of sand
was so good.
Yeah. You cursed me with what was it? You cursed me with the neck of sand and I don't know, something. It was like a good thing,
powerful.
And then the neck of sand. Yeah.
Gosh, it was so good.
That was the best line right there.
Body of granite, Jonathan.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, body of granite, neck of sand.
And the neck of sand. Gosh, that was so. Oh yeah, Mr. Sinister says calling Bobby Roode Bob Roode. Yeah.
Yeah, he made everything. He did what he could in WWE.
Oh, absolutely.
With what he was given.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Don Knox says, I never watched AEW. Do y'all believe the best AEW pay-per-views are better than the best takeovers? He said, I love takeovers, and I think they're very rewatchable. I think they're definitely. I mean,
obviously, that's a subjective. One advantage takeovers have is that they don't take up your whole day. Your 2.5 hours, true. 5 matches, really awesome wrestling, but All Out last year was like an all-time great show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, there's advantages to each. AEW does have some really good in-ring wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And they can, at times, tell some pretty fun stories.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you've made this point that so much of what made NXT what it was, you know, from like 2018 to 2020 is pretty much going on in AEW right now. So if you really enjoy prime takeover era NXT, you might enjoy AEW because it's a lot of the same people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. Let's see here. Stinky Bojangles says, what will the pro wrestling landscape look like in 5 years? Will AEW still be in business? Are WWE going to sell? Or will they attempt world domination again? So these specific, like predicting 5 years is tough because who knows? But these individual questions, will AEW still be in business? Yes, I believe so. Mm-hmm. Is WWE going to sell? I think it's a distinct possibility. But things, I think it's a possibility. I definitely think it's a possibility. Will they attempt global localization? I sincerely doubt it. I think that's something that Nick Khan probably came in and said, I don't know if this is really what you want to do if you want to get this company ready to be sold for the highest price. You want to keep it focused. I'm not. I would not be shocked if that was the situation there.
Yeah. Sean Chan says Ethan Page getting another manager seems like a bad idea. Other than Page, who is suffering from having a manager and who would benefit most from having one? Says AEW or WB, your call. In this situation, if it's Ethan Page as top guy of a faction, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, right.
Because Ethan Page is really good on the mic. So is Stokely.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There's a chance there for some good interaction. Sort of like when Punk and Heyman were a team.
Right. Yeah.
Punk didn't need a manager.
Right. Yeah.
But him with Heyman was a lot of fun because they knew how to play off each other. So I'm willing to see how this goes. You know, because especially early on, Lambert was more or less the mouthpiece for Page and Sky, which made no sense because they're both really good talkers. Yet Lambert was doing most of the talking for him, and that eventually changed a bit. But hopefully with this arrangement, with this faction, it'll be Page and Stokely working off each other, and that could be pretty good. That could be pretty good.
I agree with everything you said. Mayor Plant Houston says, if the Vince scandal had taken place in 2018, would AEW exist today? I think I think it's like a 50-50 shot. I really do. I mean, the Young Bucks loved to clown Triple H, but you know, I kind of think that the whole idea was Triple H was like, hey, you know, I can get you guys somewhere, but no, Vince is there. Vince is not gonna, you know. I think it's a 50-50 shot. I really do.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Let's see here. Zach DeJong says, who do you think will be the next 3 AEW champions after Punk/Mox? Danielson's probably going to be in there. Danielson, Cole is probably a likely situation. They might even, if he's healthy and happy, they might put it back on Kenny. He's going to be huge when he comes back.
Yeah. I think you got to consider Ricky Starks too. It's obvious based on that promo last week, 2 weeks ago, well, 10 days ago.
9 days.
That they're setting him up for a massive push. So in a year's time, he could be in the world title picture.
If he takes the MJF spot, if Tony Khan is like, hey, I need another young guy that I can really start building, and have him be on par with these WWE names, and Kenny, then you could absolutely be right, because I think MJF would have been in that conversation had it not been for the falling out.
Definitely, absolutely.
You know? Or as Jorge here says, could be 2 dimes.
It could be Cole Carter. That's right. Now that he's a member of the factory, apparently.
What?
Getting him ready. Yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
Yeah, he's part of the factory now.
Did that happen on Rampage tonight?
No, it happened on like Dark or something.
Wait a second. Oh, were they were trying to recruit him on? I thought they were trying to get him.
That was on Rampage last week.
No, I know. I thought they were trying to get him into a match or something. I didn't know.
No, it was QT saying, "Hey, come join us. I can help you."
And he did that.
Apparently.
Oh wow.
Oh, Jorge says, "Yeah, that was the spoiler I was going to tell you, Steve."
Oh no. Oh wow. Yeah.
Sorry if that was a spoiler, everybody.
Oh yeah, dude. Wow. You said no darker elevation. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I didn't know that. All right. Anyways, that's going to do it for us today. Actually, let's do this last one. White Brownie says, what would be the best way to salvage the 24/7 title without scrapping it? Put it on somebody. Just got
make it the network title.
Yeah, we'll put it on somebody good and have it be like an open challenge title.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
That's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald, here to tell you to go support Going In Raw and Friendo Club at patreon.com/Steven Larson. They got bonus episodes, ad-free audio, a weekly newsletter rounding up the week in wrestling news, and a bunch more. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Go support or get hit with a stunner.